Now, we started in this hex. We entered 1, 2, 3 hexes. For each hex, we're going to roll once for getting lost. So we've already rolled for this one, and we determined that they actually wound up here instead. Hey Wargamers, welcome back. Purple Druid here, and today we are talking about Druid Quest, and we have some more solo gaming for you and some more solo gaming mechanics. This is going to be super fun. Mapping got a little bit out of hand this week, and so we're going to be doing some shorter videos in addition to the adventuring videos. So first of all, I wanted to show you the town of High Fork. So High Fork is a river town. The river flows this way. There's another river coming in here. This is where the fork comes together. And the previous video this week, we actually drew and labeled the city and laid out the different sections. Now, there's only 3,000 people that live within the walls of High Fork. And I made the decision not to do the donjon.bin style town, at least right now. And when we are adventuring in these areas, these farthings, these neighborhoods, whatever you want to call them, we're going to treat it like a point crawl. And so we'll have a separate encounter table for each farthing. We'll have possible things that can happen when you transition from one to the other and so forth. And so our old friend Morpan, who you can see right here, he is living in High Fork, and he is going to be hiring some adventurers to do some research for him. He's got a bunch of scrolls that he brought back from the Tomb of Gamsar. He's got a lot of information to process, so he's going to be doing that over the next few days. And so High Fork, that will give me a little time to do a little more detailing and create those encounter tables for High Fork. We will, of course, be using resources from Kal-Arath. And I have the Lords of the Pit, which is an awesome gladiator campaign and city campaign resource. And he has a city crawl here on page 43. So let's take a quick look at that before we go any further. We did use this for laying out the city. You can get lost in a city. You're not going to probably get lost in a town. It's a lot smaller. And we have some fun things for street names. We're going to leave that alone. We'll make our own list of street names. We have some points of interest and encounters by area. We're going to use these slum, market, temple district, docks district. We're going to use these to create the custom tables for High Fork and for other settlements that we will encounter. So that's how we're going to handle this, and probably probably in the next video we'll return to Morpan and his urban adventurers. So in the meantime, we are going to get this scanned, and I will get this onto the itch.io page for the solo gaming downloads and resources. So the next step, this is a 5-mile hex. These are 1-mile hexes, and within the base hex is 0.2 miles, 0.2 of a mile. There are 5 small hexes, and it's just a 1-to-5 ratio as we descend. This is the area right around High Fork. The town itself is here. We've got some little areas of badlands, forest, marsh, hills, that sort of thing. We have a watchtower here, a watchtower here, a third watchtower here, and then one of the outlying villages. This is Narwood. Narwood is a thorp and has a very small population. We also have a woodcutter's camp right here, and then we have a ruined castle here. Now, to detail this area, obviously the river and High Fork were already detailed. But when it comes to this scale of map, I went ahead and used the terrain chart that I have put together for the solo gaming. And so we look at the grass area here, because this is a grass, the primary terrain type is grasslands. And so we look at grasslands here, and we rolled d20s, and that gave us our subsections, and so on and so forth. When we get into smaller, even smaller maps, then we will use the campaign hexagon system for detailing those hexes. Please hit that like and subscribe button. And this also will be scanned and will be available on the itch.io page. Now here, this is a 25-mile hex. This is the 5-mile hex that holds the town of High Fork, and the various 5-mile hexes around it. Each of these, again, has used the terrain table that we put together here, that I will be typing up and sharing. And we use that to determine the primary terrain type, which is grasslands, as well as the secondary and tertiary terrain types. So the procedure for that is we have here regional hex terrain generation. That's what we're going to call this process. And it's a 25-mile campaign hex. The primary terrain type for this particular hex is grass. And what we'll do is for the secondary terrain type, we're going to roll a d6 plus 6. And that will give us 7 to 12 5-mile subhexes that will be, so this would be 10, that will be some other type of terrain. The tertiary type of terrain is d6 plus 2, so that would be 5. And then again, we will roll on the chart here to determine the primary type of terrain in each of the subhexes. And then when we detail the 5-mile subhex, like this, that is when we'll use the campaign hexagon system. So I hope that makes sense. I've been doing this a lot, and so I'm suffering from the condition of knowing more than or perhaps I believe that I've shared what I haven't already shared. So in any case, that's how this is going to work. We do have a little bit of a formula for laying this out. And when we start doing this in earnest, we'll use the formula and I will show you the process step by step. So that's where we are with that. Now, let's go ahead and return to our intrepid adventurers. So let's see. I'm going to hit pause for just a second, and so I can zoom in on these guys for you. Okay, so here we have Brundax the Mystic. He is first level, agility 1, toughness 1, intelligence 2. He is a mystic of the Pact of Destruction. We have here Wrath. Wrath is an explorer, and she has strength 1, toughness 1, intelligence 1, and presence 1. She is level 2. She was able to level up after the adventures in the tomb of Gamsar. And then here we have the third adventurer, Lorgan. He is a level 2 warrior. He has Strength 2, Agility 1, and Toughness 1. And he also, like I said, leveled up after the adventures at the Tomb of Gansar. Now, in the time that our friends have been recuperating and preparing for their next adventure, they went ahead and hired some men-at-arms who are led by a sergeant who will be played by this figure here. And this is Karnesh. He is a level 2 warrior, Strength 2, Toughness 1, Intelligence 1. And he'll be leading a group of men-at-arms who are level 1. We have a couple of spearmen, and we have a couple of archers. So the group will number a total of 8, and they'll be heading out on their next adventure very shortly. Our intrepid adventurers are going to be leaving High Fork and heading to the southwest in search of Castle Trollfen in the Trollfens, in search of a map that Brundax is supposed to get from another apprentice who was a prior apprentice to his mentor. And if you're not familiar with the story, you'll just have to pop back to the adventures that we previously made videos for. Now, in game, it is the 18th of June. Brundax and company have returned to... I'm sorry, that's not correct. It is June 25th and 26th. And Brundax and company have returned to High Fork to rest and recuperate for a couple of days. Now that Brundax has a stash of silver pennies, he is able to buy the supplies that he will need for his trek to the Trollfens. So here's High Fork, and they're going to need to make their way around here to the Trollfens. He has hired more spearmen, more archers, and a sergeant to lead them. The horses have been rested and watered, and a rack has been built on the wagon to hold their canoe. Brundax has purchased 2 blessing scrolls. Raff has spent some time with Morpan and has added detail to her map of the coastal area. Now, this is Morpan's map, and the details that she was able to add really wasn't coastal at all. It was this area here, the Badlands to the north of the city of Karanis. So, after much deliberation, Brundax and Raff have decided to go north around the Dragon's Back Mountains, which are the mountains that run from here, from here down to the shore, and the city of Karmazine Scala. So they're going to leave here from High Fork, and they will aim for Karanis. This will allow them to resupply and then head around the Trollfens to Castle Trollfen, which is right over here just off the edge of the map. Raff estimates that it will be 12 to 14 days of travel to arrive at Karanis. And then it'll be another 2 weeks to skirt the northern shore of the Trollfens and reach Castle Trollfen on the western edge of the swamp. So this is the play procedure for Kal-Arath. And this is designed for solo play, for day by day. However, since we have so much ground to cover, we're going to use weekly turns. And so we have a little bit different travel procedure here. We will be rolling for the weather weekly. We'll be rolling for getting lost once per campaign hex. Each time they reach the center of a campaign hex, we'll roll to see if they're lost. That'll be a d6 roll. On a 1 or a 2, they will be somewhat lost. On a 1, they will not be able to leave the hex. They'll get to the edge somewhere. And on a 2, we'll roll a d6, and they will wind up either being 2 hexes to the right of where they're headed or 2 hexes to the left of where they're headed. There will be a -1 to the roll for rain or fog if we roll that up for the weather. So just as an example, I'll use these 2 dice. Say we are here at High Fork and we're planning on traveling to this hex here. We'll roll a die. We get a 1. So they'll be able to travel along here. Along the river they won't get lost, but they will get lost in the woods. So they'll not be able to leave that hex. If we rolled a 2, then what would happen is we would roll again, and that's a 3. So they'll wind up 2 hexes to the right. They're traveling this direction. They want it to be in this hex. So we'll move 2 hexes to the right, 1, 2, and this is where they will have wound up. And then the next, for the rest of the week, we'll continue to travel along. Now, the distances that we're going to travel, these are based on the travel tables in Tony Bath's Ancient Wargaming, which is this book here. And they are based on, infantry units, like armies, that sort of thing, full scale armies. This is a smaller group. It's only going to be 8 men, and their pack horses and the wagons. So what that's going to mean is that they'll be able to travel, make sure you can see this, they'll be able to travel so many campaign hexes per week. On grasslands, it will be 3 campaign hexes. Now, as I mentioned, these are 25-mile hexes, so that means they'll be able to travel from High Fork, and they'll be able to cover, if it's grassland, 15 sub-hexes. So we'll just start counting here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, which would put us right here. So I'm going to mark that with a die. Now, we started in this hex. We entered 1, 2, 3 hexes. For each hex, we're going to roll once for getting lost. So we've already rolled for this one, and we determined that they actually wound up here instead. So now they're going to travel 5 more hexes, sub-hexes. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the hex that they're aiming for. We'll roll the d6 to see if they got lost. That's a 1. They did. They're not going to be able to leave the hex. I should get a little figure for this. So they're going to actually wind up here. And then they will travel 5 more sub-hexes, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They'll roll for getting lost. That's a 2. So they're going to wind up on 1. This die only rolls 1s and 2s. Let's try a different die. A 2. So a 2 means that they'll wind up going to the right 2 hexes. So instead of landing here, they're going to land 1, 2. They're going to land here. So now they've gone 5, 10, 15. So this is their full week of travel, and they are here rather than here. Now, once per campaign hex, we're also going to roll for foraging. There will be no modification to the movement rate because we are abstracting this portion of the travel. And so we're going to look at the terrain modifiers, and then we'll roll on the foraging table, which is here in the Kal-Arath book. They are in grasslands. That will give a +1 to the roll. And they get a 2, that'll become a 3. That'll be adequate forage, and they'll gain 1 ration. And what we're going to do is we're going to scale that up. It'll be 1 week's worth of rations for 1 person is what they'll be able to forage. So we will add that to the food stores that they have loaded on the wagon and modify that. So we'll do that for each hex that they enter. They entered 2 different hexes. Again, this is a 3, so they'll have actually 2 extra weeks of rations for 1 person will be added on. Once per week, we'll roll for a point of interest. So again, we'll use the Kal-Arath book, and we will roll D66. The red die is the 10s. That's a 35. At one point during the week, we're going to encounter a cliffside monastery. So we'll have to determine where that is. Somewhere in here between. It looks like one of these 2 hexes will have a cliffside monastery. Probably this one, because we were able to travel past, let's say this one, because it's a little further along. So here there was a cliffside monastery, and we'll decide, let's ask the bones if they decided to investigate. Now, this is just an example of the travel. We will do the full scale travel, or the actual real travel, in just a bit. But I wanted to go through the process with you first. So here we have this monastery. Are they going to stop? The answer is yes, and something good will come of it. So let's figure out what that is by checking our oracle. Here is the Kal-Arath oracle. And we're going to roll on the D66. This is a cliffside monastery. We're going to go ahead and assume that it is a religious sect that is there. And then we're going to go ahead and roll for the type of person, or the role that this monastery, the person they encounter when they get to the monastery, has. So that's a 41, would be an innkeeper. So they encounter an innkeeper. He offers them shelter for the night, and perhaps, let's see what his motivation is. His motivation is on the next table here. That's an 11. He is seeking wealth. So the innkeeper invites them to stay, but is charging a pretty penny. This innkeeper has a trait of 26. He is cold. He will not negotiate. He definitely is going to demand full payment. Let's see what sort of resources he's looking for. He's looking for herbs and specialty items. And it just so happens that Brundax does carry some herbs. And it's the, what do we got here? It is the, it's the rare Moor Blossom elixir. And so let's see if our friend, the innkeeper, will accept that. He will, with no additional bonuses or penalties. And so let's see if we have any rumors or opportunities while we're here. 45. The Hidden Monastery. That's a repeat. Let's roll it again. 44. There's a stolen totem. Let's see. Perhaps the innkeeper will offer the adventure hook of a stolen totem, and let's see how attractive it is to our group. We have a no and a blank. The tiebreaker is a yes. So we're going to say that, and there's nothing good comes of this, we are going to say that Brundax will pass politely on searching for the stolen totem. He will, however, go ahead and give up the Moor Blossom, and they'll stay overnight in the monastery and then resume their travels. And so that will bring us to here. As I mentioned, we're trying to get there. So this is where they are at the end of week 1. So that'll be our process. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here. I'll make notes on what happened for this first week, and then I'll come back and we'll do the videos. We'll do a video for however much time it will take them to make their way down to the city of Kal-Arath. And in the meantime, Morpan in High Fork will then have time to do the things that he wants to do and research his scrolls. So let's see. I don't think I have any rolls for research. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to roll an average die, which has 2 3s and 2 4s, a 2 and a 5, no 1 and no 6. We're going to roll this once for each of his scrolls. And this will tell us how long it's going to take him to figure out if there's anything useful within this scroll. He's already identified 3 of them. And so we're going to identify the next 4 during this downtime. So this one is going to take 4 days. The 3rd scroll will take 2 days. The 5th scroll will take 4 days. And the 6th scroll will take 3 days. So after we have finished with Brundax and company and their journey to Kal-Arath, we'll return to Morpan and identify his scrolls and decide what he's going to do as each one is identified as time goes by. So that is going to be the plan, and that's how we're going to handle the solo campaigning. We will obviously what was I going to say? This will take probably longer than 2 weeks in the game, because, like I said, and I picked up those dice and I shouldn't have. The getting lost can be tricky. So when we come back, we'll roll for the weather, see if that changes, and make our way along. So that's the procedure we're going to follow. I apologize. I know it's a little messy, but like I said, we're working through this together, and we'll be developing. We're developing this whole process, this solo process, and unfortunately, it's not fully developed in any of the solo game books that I've looked at, and perhaps that's simply because this is a much more ambitious kind of map. And an ambitious program, and that is one of my weaknesses. So thank you very much for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button. I look forward to your comments, and those who have messaged me on X, I appreciate it very much. You've had some really good questions, and the answers have helped me a lot. Thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.